Hi, so what we're going to do is we're going to start to look at stretching. We've done a lot of work over the course of the summer on running, on explosive speed, on gym orientated exercises, and actually stretching or mobility can get forgotten about. So I think it's a good time for us to go through a little series on stretching. So we'll go through some specific stretches for runners, for the older athlete, and also some exercises and stretches related through to that posture side of things related to working at a desk. I think it's important to try and understand the balance between why we stretch and what we're trying to achieve. Stretching is part of a bigger picture. The picture needs to involve some stability retraining to get the best results. I get a number of clients who come in and go, yeah, I stretch and I stretch and I stretch, but it's still tight. Of course it's still tight, because that muscle's doing a job. It's doing a job to try and add stability to your body. It's trying to do something it's actually not very well designed to do, and it shouldn't be doing it, but it means that there's a muscle underneath that's not doing its job properly. So it should be seen as part of a bigger picture. So we're going to go through stretching, we're going to look at stretching, but please also remember stability is what's going to get you a long-term result with this. The two need to work together to make sure that you get the best long-term results. So we're going to call it mobility. We're going to look at it as a mobility thing, because I want to think about not just the muscle and muscle tendon range, but also the joint range. How are the capsule, the ligaments, and that side of things thinking. So as we cover this sort of area over the coming few weeks, we're going to look at both so that you can understand what it is you're feeling and maybe what area you need to be focusing on. So why do we stretch? Two main reasons that we're going to be stretching: habitual postures that we adopt while we're sitting at our desk working at our computer, creating tightness and tension because we're in the same place all the time, day after day, and we don't do enough to move away from that range. The other one is obviously going to be sport related. Working muscles hard, they will naturally want to shorten and tighten when they're worked. We need to try and keep length and range in that, so we have good movement health, and we make sure that we're not overloading areas to create potential injuries. So that's why we're going to stretch. When do we stretch? Two real key times to stretch. One is before sport or at any point during a day. You're going to be looking at doing anytime during the day to deal with more habitual postural changes. You're going to do a slower, longer stretch, not really pushing into pain massively, will work effectively. Pre-activity, really only important for the older athlete who maybe has restrictions that they need to do a little bit of work on to help get good movement. I would be thinking more dynamic if you can, particularly for the younger athlete. Be more dynamic in your warm-up, and you'll get that range, you'll get that mobility going through that side effect. So think about that mobility and not just a static stretch. You can still get that range going. And then the obvious one is obviously after activity, when we've done sport, the muscle's warm, it's pliable, it's a really good time to add length and make sure you keep length in the muscle. So that's the time that we want to be doing our slower stretch. It will be hard, it should be active. You're going to be looking at doing 3 to 5 sets, 20 to 30 second holds. But the key is you're not just relaxed into it. You've got to be thinking about trying to work on the other areas. So if I take a quad stretch, for example, and I come into this position, I'm holding my ankle. What I'm trying to do is push my hip forward, so I'm activating my glutes, and I'm driving my knee down towards the ground, so I'm lengthening through that muscle, activating my glutes even further, and keeping my abdominals working, so I'm not just arching my back. That makes for a much better inhibition of the muscle, a better relaxed effect on the muscle, and you'll get a better result long term. So a few things for us to think about. I will go through some of those different areas, but this is a good starting point to think about why you're stretching and what you're trying to achieve. Hope that helps. See you soon.